Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It is early Saturday morning. Intended to shoot this video yesterday, but just got too busy and was tired and went to bed early. So, yeah, I go to bed early, I wake up early. So it's like almost 6 o'clock, a little bit before 6 o'clock my time. And wanted to get this video out, so let's review the Hot 10 Comics for the Week by CBSI and see what's on the list. All right, starting off with number 10 is an Uncle Scrooge book, number 43. Yeah, it's kind of a nice cover by Paulo Matura, a 1 in 10 variant. Looks like this is selling around $25 to $30 now. CBSI says they have nothing else to say about it other than it's a low print run. So it's kind of a cool cover, I guess. And if you're a collector of Uncle Scrooge, that would be something that you'd like. I don't really collect that genre of comic books, so yeah, it's nothing I'm after, but it is on the top 10. Number 9, Avengers number 196. This is a book that I personally own, especially in very high grade. Mine's probably a 9.4 or 9.6 raw. If I was ever going to sell it, I'd probably get it graded because I'm sure it would grade pretty high. But here it says that a 9.6 will run around $400 plus, and 9.4s were $325, and 9.8s have topped $1,000. So that book, I would say that book was undervalued for the longest time. Taskmaster is a very cool villain. It's interesting. Taskmaster and Deathstroke were both drawn and I think co-created by George Perez, and they're both basically the same guy, right? One's for Marvel and one's for DC. I find that interesting. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's Marvel's version of Deathstroke, or Deathstroke is DC's version of Taskmaster. The coloring is similar, obviously their faces are different, but just go and compare the early drawings of Deathstroke and Taskmaster, and it's pretty similar. But definitely a cool character, and one that it looks like it's going to be the villain in the new Black Widow movie. So this book's kind of sky high right now. I don't think I would be going out buying graded copies, but you definitely could probably find raw copies of this, maybe at your local comic book shop. I definitely think the price over the last 6 months has been rising on this book, so I bought it probably a year and a half ago. I got a really good price. I mean, I think I paid less than $100 for my copy, and it's high grade. I mean, it might be a 9.6. I mean, it's in really, really good shape. But I would expect you'd probably be paying well over $100 now for anything near high grade. So that might be one worth finding or hunting down if you can. It's a really cool cover. I think it's always going to be something that people are looking for. So I think the demand on it long term will be good. But right now, obviously, it's a little higher than normal. Number 8 on the list is Akira. Is it Akira? Number 1. Japanese comic book. Buzz on this is a movie is being announced. Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be the lead. Looks like copies. I went on eBay the other day. I didn't see any copies for sale. So, this is a fairly low print run book. Looks like for the longest time it wasn't really worth a lot. It says that very fine copies were only in the $7 range. But now it's $50, $60. Obviously, any news of a movie will drive a comic book up tremendously in value. So, congrats to anyone that owns this. This is nothing I would care to own. I'm not into Japanese characters. I've heard some people say it's a good story, but yeah, you can't collect everything, so it's nothing that I would have ever looked for. But yeah, if you're into Japanese style work and you like the idea of a movie coming out, this might be something that you want to target and look for in your comic book shops. Pretty rare book though. I don't think I've ever seen it at a comic book shop. Probably something that's going to be more eBay related if you can find it on eBay. Number 7 on the list, Special Marvel Edition number 15. This is the first appearance of Shang-Chi. I guess it looks like a 9.6 just recently sold for $1,900. The previous high was $1,250. A 9.4 went recently for $750. So there is some legs to this. They announced that movie a couple months ago, and the prices are still going pretty good on this book. The black cover. This is, a lot of these early Marvel books with the black cover. It's definitely hard to find this in really good condition. So, you got a lot of people that are just they'll pay extra money for a very high grade book of this character. So, yeah, if you own it, fantastic. The price is rising. It's not a character that I would care about. I mean, if a Shang-Chi comic book came out right now for Marvel, I don't think it would last very long. There's just not really a market for it in current comic books. If you had a certain writer on it, maybe you could definitely get a following, but I don't. The movie's driving it. Once the movie's over, prices will inevitably fall. So just be cautious there on chasing that type of book. Number 6, Sonata number 1. This is a Comics Pro edition. It says here, similar to Dark Age number 1 last week, the Comic Pro edition isn't a variant because the title doesn't even release until June. So I guess this was I guess Comics Pro had the ability to issue this book way in advance of the actual comic book coming out. It says now it's a $45 and a copy just sold for $80, and now it's a ghost. So I don't know much about it. I have no idea if this is any good or not, but again, just the market's very speculative right now. A lot of stuff that's moving right now, months from now, I think will move right back down. So just be real cautious in this type of stuff. Number 5, Spider-Man Deadpool number 47. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So on one of CBR's reports was that Rob Liefeld Liefield's a diva, man. He's always. There's a lot of reasons why people don't like Rob Liefeld, besides the fact that he can't fucking draw. But besides that, he's kind of a douchebag. So Spider-Man Deadpool 47, one of the last panels in the book shows an image of Major X, which is a new title that just came out this past Wednesday. And Rob Liefeld came out on Twitter and said that is not the first appearance of Major X, that it's in his issue. His issue was released before Spider-Man Deadpool number 47. Right now, though, the comic book community is viewing Spider-Man Deadpool number 47 as first appearance cameo, maybe. It says here recent sales are $20 to $35. Yeah, I looked on eBay. I'd say $35 is your average price right now. I don't know. I mean, yeah, first of all, I don't really care for anything Rob Liefeld does, so I'm very biased in this. The only book I ever bought that he ever did was the first appearance of Deadpool, just because I wanted to have that first appearance. I think it's an important character. So I'm not saying Rob Liefeld hasn't done some great things. He created Cable and Deadpool, which are major characters in the Marvel Universe. But I never bought any of his Image books. I remember back in the day going to the comic book shop, and I bought Spawn, and I bought Wildcats, and I bought a lot of other creators. And I remember going through his Youngblood title, and just remember thinking, this is absolute crap. And I was probably, 14, 15 years old at the time. Yeah, maybe 17. Yeah, I was a young lad, and I just remember back then thinking, this is absolute crap. This guy can't draw. His story is horrible. And I never bought any Image books by Rob Liefeld. Not that the other ones were dramatically better, but they were definitely better than what he produced. So I'm not a big fan of him. I think his Major X character is a total ripoff of. He took Judge Dredd and Cyclops from, when they changed Cyclops' visor to a helmet. Basically, he took Judge Dredd and Cyclops and combined them into one character. And then to try to make it more interesting, it's Cable's son. It's just, God. All right, so I'm on a rant. I just think it's crap. I don't think it has any legs, in my opinion. Obviously, there's going to be people that disagree with that. I just think Liefeld was very, very lucky early in his career, and he's been living off of that luck for a long time. I don't know, but there's some people that like him. I mean, I'm not one of them. I'm not a fan of the way he is as a person. I've seen interviews of him. I've talked to people that have known him in the past, and yeah, he definitely comes off quite a bit as a douchebag. So I find it's kind of funny. I mean, the fact that he lashed out and said, no, that's not his first appearance. It's in my issue. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I'm sure I'll get some comments on that, especially from people that like Rob Liefeld. Number 4, Stars and Stripe #0. DC debuted this costume, Stargirl, at a WonderCon, and the interest is spiking again. Raws have settled in between $20 and are back up in the $50 range. Yeah, I think I remember, what was it, like a year ago? There was some heat on this. It was a while ago. Yeah, I mean, it's a Jeff Johns book. What is this, mid-90s book? Probably not a real high print run. I don't think the series lasted very long. So, yeah, there's some interest in it. That might be a book that you could find at a local shop, maybe sitting in a back issue bin. There's not a lot of people know about that book, probably being a hot book. So, that could be one that if you're at a shop that has a lot of, mid-90s back issues, that'd be something to look for. Number 3 in the list, Amber Blank #1. This is it says here, the Catherine Noted 1 in 10. So that's she did the cover. Catherine Noted. Noted? I have no idea. It's a 1 in 10 variant. It is a cool cover. I think I highlighted it on my New Comic Book Day video on Wednesday. That was kind of a neat looking cover. It's a 1 in 10. It sold out very, very quickly on Midtown, and looks like it's going for around $40 to $50 right now. Yeah, I mean, I'd wait a little. If you really like that cover and want to buy it, go for it. But I think if you wait a week or two, you might see it settle down a tad. It is a cool looking cover. I don't know who this Catherine Noted is. I don't think I'm familiar with any of her other work, but maybe she's the new Jenny Frison, or one of these type of artists that start to get some acclaim. So that might be worth picking up long term. I don't know, but my feeling is if you wait a week or two, you might see the price level off a little bit. Number 2 on the list, Immortal Hulk 16. This is the Joe Bennett 1 in 25 variant. Yeah, CBSI is a good comment here. I'm not even going to get into the second print mess, or that this dropped from a high of 150 to the current $100 range, or that when it is in a bag and board, it is just not pretty. I'm going to say that $100 is still an incredible high the week of release. I agree. This was a book that I temporarily had a moment of insanity where I was thinking about buying it. I had it in my Midtown order checkout bin for $125. Ultimately, I decided to pass on it, so I didn't put it in my order. And about an hour later, I noticed they were asking $150 for it at Midtown, so they went from $125 to $150 sometime during the day on Wednesday. And I just thought about it, and I thought, I bet this book in a week or two sells below $100. And I didn't have to wait that long. I went on eBay and saw a couple sales around $80, $85. So, is this a book worth buying? Yeah, I mean, I think there's something significant that happens in Immortal Hulk 16, right? You've got a reappearance of Harpy. You've got something that's going on there that will create some demand. There is a reappearance of an old character, but it's not a first appearance. There's not anything super significant going on in that title or in that particular book. This was just something that had a lot of buzz in pre-order market. There were people asking $200, $250 for this book, before it came out. And then the fact that Marvel second printed a ratio, a 1 in 25 variant, is crazy. I don't think they've ever done that before. So there was way too much hype on this book. And usually anything with too much hype, reality sets in eventually. And I think eventually you could find this book in the $50 to $60 range. I don't think this book will ever go down to the ratio price, $25 to $30. I don't think that's going to happen. But $50 to $60, definitely. So if you really want to buy this book, I think if you're patient, I think you can find it in that 55, 50, maybe, lows 50, probably a lot easier around 60 to 65. That's where I think the price will settle. Maybe I'm wrong. Right now, there were a couple sales in the 80, 85 range, and I think it's right now about $100, as I checked last night. There's some buy it nows right now for $100, so you could easily get it at 100. And it just shows you, if you're chasing something, the hype obviously affects people because there's people that bought it for 150, and right now they're down $50 on a brand new book. And long term, is this going to climb back up to $150? It could. I mean, Immortal Hulk run is an epic run, but I think there's a lot higher probability that the early issues of this run are going to continue to rise more than issue 16. So, yeah, it's a nice, I'm not going to say it's a great looking cover. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bennett's artwork. I think it works for the story. I think the internal artwork works very well for the story being told. I think Al Ewing and Joe Bennett are a good combination. He's not my favorite artist, but he gets the job done. He conveys the story very well. But as a cover artist, yeah, I'm going to pay bigger money for a Delato cover, or just something that just looks stunning to me. To me, is not a stunning cover. It's a weird cover, no doubt about it, but it's not stunning. All right, enough about that. I ranted long enough about that. Naomi, number 1, is the number 1 book on the list here. This book's been hot for several weeks. It says early sales were in the week were $25, and now it's around 40. Yeah, I mean, I was very skeptical of this. I'm not a big Michael Bendis fan. I think he writes way too much dialogue. and it takes them a long time to get to the point of things. But I actually enjoyed, I bought the first 3 issues. I went back. I think I paid for number 1. I paid like $15, and I paid around 12 or 13 for number 2, and I got number 3 for cover price. So I went back. I went back and bought the first 2 issues that I missed, and I thought it was good. I think they did a good job. The artwork is amazing. Jamal Campbell. I think prior to this, he did more cover work, but he definitely is good at interiors. I like the artwork in the book for sure. It goes well with the story. And, there's still a lot of dialogue, so I'm not saying that it's the best thing I've read in a long time. It's definitely not. But it's definitely good for Bendis. He's balanced the dialogue with the action a little bit better than he normally does. But it says here that DC's putting a lot into this character, so this would be something that probably will sustain a decent value for a while. All right, guys, so that's the top 10 list. I also wanted to highlight a cool-looking cover that I saw the other day. What website was it? Sanctorum Comics, I think it was. Yeah, there was a really cool, yeah, here it is. So there's a Virgin in a trade dress. So I pre-ordered this, or ordered it, I guess, through their website. $20, with shipping it was $20. It's just a really cool Delato cover. It's Immortal Hulk 17. I don't know how many of these they have. The website doesn't really indicate what the print run on this is. That looks like the final cover, though, because it says here trade dress is not final, but it's got that logo up here. So I don't know if the logo is going to be up here. I would imagine it'd be down here, not up here, right? Because it would block the face. But yeah, really cool looking cover. I love Delato. Most of his work is phenomenal. He also doesn't copy other people's artwork. It's probably a good thing. So they got the Virgin, the Virgin in trade for $50. Yeah, for me, I just went with the trade. I think that was good enough, $20. And it's still for sale, hasn't sold out. So, if you like the Immortal Hulk run and you want a really nice looking cover, I'd rather buy a couple of these than that Bennett cover. Although I know the Bennett cover is a 1 in 25 and certainly a lot more rare. I just think this is a way better looking cover. So that's kind of, I wouldn't call it a speculation. This is just sort of it's a total cover buy. Normally, if you look at the history of store exclusives, they don't normally do well unless it's a really, really hot cover with a very, very low print run. I think this is a hot cover, but the print run, I'm sure it's at least a couple thousand. I don't think it's a real low print run on this, but yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. I like it. I think it's a cool looking cover. I'm a big Delato fan, and I like how it shows him changing. It's just, I think it's a little cooler than the Bennett. Just a little better drawn, definitely. So that's kind of what I had, guys. It's still kind of a long video. There's a lot to go over here. I might do another video this weekend on some comic book news. I might go through some articles on CBR and highlight them. I do have some books coming in next week that I'll go over. So that's it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of the top 10 list. Yeah. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right. I'll see you guys in a few days.